In the middle of space, a horrific light glows bright in the sky. This is a dream that ends when Rhea wakes up. She doesn't know where she is and keeps seeing terrifying visions of people dying in extreme ways. However, this is also a nightmare, and this time she wakes up for real on the floor of her room with several wounds on her body and amnesia. The station's AI tells her that it's detected abnormal activity and that because of a system failure, the standby power must be rebooted. A sore Rhea stands up and grabs a flashlight to go investigate. As she walks around, she finds many bloodstains and even the body of a crewmate. Rhea takes the knife from his chest before she moves to another room, where she finds another body. When she finally finds the control room, she reboots the power and opens the door. Outside, she finds a very dark planet and a body bag with another dead crewmate. As ash falls around her, Rhea looks around and notices a shadow that copies her movements before disappearing. Rhea doesn't know where she is and continues searching, only to stop when she almost falls into a cliff. She looks up and discovers the horrific light from her dream. Suddenly, Rhea starts coughing and feeling dizzy because of the polluted air, so she rushes back to the station while falling a couple of times on the way. After she closes the door, the computer says that the oxygen levels are compromised. Rhea hears someone saying her name and has visions of the crew getting attacked, including a friend with a rotting face. A flashback then shows her at the table happily sharing a meal with the crew. Some of them wanted to explore the planet and were impressed because the atmosphere already was almost breathable. In the present, Rhea puts a medicine patch on her neck and takes a shower while wondering who and where she is. Then she searches the rooms while seeing flashes of her teammates' faces. On a notebook, Rhea finds a bunch of notes about the station and pictures of herself taking care of plants. At that moment, she hears a noise and the computer detects movement at the airlock in Zone 1. Rhea carefully moves toward the area and notices someone banging on a door. She gets the knife ready, and as soon as the person steps into her corridor, she pushes him to the ground and breaks his helmet. Brian knows her name and introduces himself, so she lets him go because she remembers his name mentioned in the flashback from earlier. He was on orbital monitoring and came down because he received Rhea's distress call. Apparently, a crewmate went crazy and attacked the others. While Rhea shows Brian the bodies and tells him she doesn't remember much, they realize one of their crewmate, Clark, is missing. Brian brings out his medbot, which proceeds to scan Rhea and patch her wounds while Brian tells her about Earth. 7 spaceships were sent out to find a habitable planet and all the others have failed. Rhea's is the 7th ship and humanity's last hope. They've landed on planet Koi 442, which they've nicknamed Ash. Brian has been in orbit all along to stay in communication with Earth and act in case of an emergency. Rhea realizes that the light she saw in the sky was the orbital ship. After the medbot finishes taking care of Rhea, Brian looks at the scan and explains her brain is swollen because of blunt force trauma, which explains the amnesia. Rhea is still frustrated about not remembering who she is, and Brian tells her that she joined the program because she wanted to seek answers and learn what's out there in the universe. Afterward, Rhea tries to sleep but can't because her door won't stay closed. She keeps hallucinating a crewmate staring at her through the crack, which gives her flashes of a terrible monster. She concentrates to calm down and realizes the door was closed all along. Later, Rhea suits up to take the bodies out of the station. She's worried about Clark and wonders if she's somewhere on the planet. Brian thinks they need to forget about Clark and concentrate on their situation, pointing out that they're low on oxygen. His priority should be leaving since the orbital ship only lines up with the station every now and then. The next lineup will be in 12 hours. Suddenly, Rhea sees the dead face moving and has more flashes of the attack, so she rushes back to the station in panic. When Brian tries checking on her, she snaps and says she just needs to rest. Then Rhea goes to the room with all the blood and tries to pick up some scissors, but she drops them when she sees a memory of herself stabbing a crewmate. Rhea rushes to her room and puts on another medicine patch before having a breakdown. Once she calms down, she finds Brian and apologizes for her outburst. While they watch the terrible sandstorm outside, Rhea keeps having visions of her crewmates' deaths, and Brian confirms she had been dating one of them. The moment is interrupted by the computer informing them that the hull has been breached and oxygen levels are critical. The duo suits up and searches the rooms until they find a hole in the wall. With tools in hand, Rhea goes inside and finds proof that someone has already been here. She can hear a strange noise and starts following it, but the passage becomes too narrow to cross. Rhea has no choice but to take off her helmet, so she can't talk to Brian anymore and will be breathing pretty bad air. Now she can move easily and finds the loose piece of metal that has been making the noise. While Rhea works on fixing the hole, a hand reaches in and tries to grab her, causing her to have another vision of a melting face. The hand disappears quickly because it's also a hallucination, and Rhea hurries to finish the job. Once she's back in the main room, she tells Brian about some of her visions. She theorizes that Clark came into contact with some pathogen that triggered a psychotic break, kinda like rabies. Brian snaps as he reminds her that they've lost 30% of their oxygen and that the lineup is happening in 5 hours, so Rhea needs to forget about rescuing Clark or finding answers and concentrate on escaping. To keep herself busy, Rhea searches her crewmates' rooms again and remembers how her boyfriend Kevin used to play music for her. Suddenly she sees herself in a forest wearing beautiful clothes with a drone flying nearby. Kevin is there too, looking at a tunnel in the ground, from which a very bright light comes out. When Kevin says it hurts, the setting changes and now he's being stabbed in the station by Rhea. After being startled by a monstrous face, Rhea wakes up in bed. Thinking about what she saw, she checks another room and finds the drone next to a glitching screen. Rhea connects the drone to the medbot and finds a recording of the crew exploring the planet. Behind some rocks, they found a metal-covered tunnel in the ground. The team realized the whole atmosphere was manufactured too, which meant someone here had already terraformed. Suddenly, the tunnel started glowing and the energy hit one of the guys in the face, which sent him flying. When they checked on him, they found his helmet broken and his face burned. Then smoke, flames, and electricity began to come out of the tunnel, and the drone recorded the same thing happening in multiple spots far away. Brian interrupts Rhea's watching and she accuses him of knowing everything, but he swears he didn't. He only knew that the team left on a mission, but the station and the comms went dark. Rhea doesn't believe him and they argue for a while before she tells him that her visions indicate she killed some crewmates. She needs to know if they're real or not, and that's why she wants to stay. She also admits that when her medicine patches fade, she gets memories back. A furious Brian refuses to miss the next lineup and says he doesn't trust the person she may become without the patches. Their priority is to tell Earth they've found terraforming technology which could save humanity. Moments later, while Rhea is packing, Brian comes to apologize for snapping and make sure she's put on a new patch. Since the patches appear to be getting less effective, Brian puts a second one on her neck. After he leaves, Rhea feels dizzy and removes a patch, which triggers a memory. She remembers one of the guys attacking her, forcing her to fight back to protect herself. Her hits didn't do much and she was easily overpowered, but when the guy tried to choke her, she managed to grab the scissors and attacked him to get him to step back. No matter how many times she stabbed him though, the man kept moving. So Rhea hid under the table to stab him in the leg and make him fall. Then she sat on him and repeatedly stabbed him until he was dead. In the present, Rhea collapses on her bed, but more monstrous visions make her wake up. She concludes that the pathogen infected the entire crew and that's why she killed them. At that moment, she hears a strange noise and follows it thinking it's Brian, only to find Clark in a suit instead. A terrified Rhea runs away and grabs a wielder before hiding in the vent, where she's shocked to find Brian dead with a burned face. When Clark looks inside the vent, Rhea jumps on her and a fight ensues. After exchanging a few hits, Rhea activates the wielder and Clark uses the table to try to stop the fire, but the flames reach her suit anyway. Rhea uses the chance to run away but ends up tripping and falling. Clark follows her and breaks an extinguisher with a punch to put off the fire. The fight continues as the women advance through multiple rooms until they reach the bathroom. In the shower, Clark smashes Rhea's face on the wall, which triggers a memory of the same thing happening before. Rhea connects the shower to Clark's helmet and turns on the water, which slowly drowns her to death. Realizing what she's done, Rhea takes Clark's body to the medbot, but it can't revive people. It also detects no infections, which means Clark only fought her because Rhea attacked her first and probably thought she was the infected one. The computer announces that the lineup is about to happen, so Rhea suits up and goes outside. After dropping Clark's body in a bag, she boards the shuttle and is surprised to find some blood and broken things. Getting worried, she tries checking the computer, but it isn't working, which means the shuttle won't be able to reach the orbital spaceship either. Afterward, Rhea returns to the station and puts on 2 more patches. Then she retrieves Brian's body and makes the medbot scan him. The test concludes that Brian has been dead for 51 hours, which doesn't make sense. Rhea hears voices saying it's her fault and snaps out of it when the computer detects an unusual life form. With a wielder in hand, Rhea begins searching the ship until she finds the mysterious shadow from the beginning. It takes the shape of Brian and Rhea realizes this thing used her to kill Clark. After another creepy vision, Rhea freezes and concludes that this shadow is the infection itself. It calls itself part of Harris. It touches her head to show her. Its fingers go through her skin until Rhea sees another memory. After the team returned to the station, 2 of the guys found the creature in the walls, and that was when they lost communication with the orbital ship. While Brian flew to the planet in the shuttle and entered the station, the crew found the strange creature getting into their computers. It was this alien who made the hole in the wall and used it to spread all over the ship. The crew wanted to evacuate, but Rhea convinced them that defeating the creature would give them access to the terraforming technology, which always was their mission goal. She took a sample from the alien in the computer and looked at it in the lab to discover self-replicating technology. However, the sample started to grow and broke the dish to attack a crewmate. It entered his head through his nose, and after some shaking, it took control of his body, which triggered the fight that ended with Rhea killing him with the scissors. While Clark pulled Rhea away, Kevin checked on the body, which suddenly woke up and started to choke him. Rhea ran to save her boyfriend, and together they started to fight the alien in their friend's body. The creature clearly gave the astronaut super strength and better reflexes because it could fight 2 people at the same time quite easily. When Kevin was about to get killed, Rhea called his name and tossed a scalpel. Hearing the name made their friend gain clarity for a second, but Kevin didn't notice and slashed his neck. The alien came out of the dead mouth and entered Kevin through his ear to gain control of the new body. Kevin chased after Rhea and smashed her head on the wall. When he was about to finish her, a suited-up Clark arrived to fight him. She managed to land a few hits, but Kevin overpowered her and broke her helmet to continuously punch her face. At that moment, Brian walked in and was terrified by Kevin's monstrous face, so he ran away to hide in the vent. However, Kevin followed him and quickly killed him with a pipe. Meanwhile, Rhea put a new helmet on Clark's head and forced her to leave the station for safety. Then she grabbed a knife from the kitchen while hearing the alien using Kevin's soft voice to bait her. Rhea pretended to fall for it, and once he was close enough, she stabbed him with a knife. The alien immediately left his body and entered hers through the wound on her forehead. However, before it could take control, Rhea rushed to take lots of medicine, which blocked both her memories and the creature's power. The strange presence the computer has been sensing since she woke up has been the parasite in her body all along. In the present, the alien keeps talking in her mind, saying humans are inefficient and doomed to self-destruction, so it doesn't want to share its technology with them. Rhea refuses to let it control her and removes her patches, which puts an end to all the hallucinations, including the Brian that was never there with her. The computer announces that the oxygen levels have reached a critical level, while Rhea makes the medbot scan her for real this time. The robot finds the parasite and painfully inserts a mechanical arm into her forehead wound to remove it. It takes several minutes and Rhea's heart stops, but after seeing another bright light, she wakes up just in time to see the robot remove the alien, which immediately runs away. Rhea thinks it's over, but the creature takes over Brian's body and transforms into a monstrous form to attack her again. A new fight begins and the alien tries to choke Rhea while hitting her with its tentacles. She grabs a fallen screwdriver and stabs the creature's forehead before kicking it off. Then Rhea manages to put on the suit before fighting the alien again. She stabs it in the chest and hits it a few more times before running to another room to get the wielder. The creature goes after her while its body continues to mutate. It catches Rhea in a lab, where she shoots fire in a spray can to create huge flames that finally defeat the monster by burning it to death. Afterward, Rhea sets the whole station on fire and runs to get back on the shuttle. This time she makes the system work and takes off, flying through the atmosphere just in time to reach the orbital ship when it lines up with the planet. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.